일단 저희 팀이 지난 몇 개월 동안 굉장히 빠른 속도로 발전을 했는데 나는 왕자를 탈환할 때까지 멈추지 않을 것이다.
Best of 1 is all about luck and draft. Best of 5 is mental.
想要打败敌人，就必须要了解敌人。
미래로 나아가기 위해서 과거를 뛰어넘어야 합니다.
Two teams. Best of 5. Only one survives.
아무도 저희를 이기지 못했고 당연히 다전제에서도 저희를 이기지 못할 겁니다. 아무도 저희를 막을 수 없습니다.
Don't forget about Armut.
전 뭐든지 할 거고 하나생명 e스포츠는 지지 않을 겁니다.
T1이 다시 한번 왕자를 되찾을 겁니다.
이제 제 차례입니다.
It all leads to this. Make or break.
Vitality will take them!
A new era is waiting. Make it yours.
Welcome back to Worlds 2021, taking place in Reykjavik, Iceland. Hanwha Life arrives at the arena and continues the hero's journey, going toe-to-toe with some of the league's biggest legends in T1. But as the meta evolves and the stakes grow ever higher, even the old gods look mortal, and the young blood could reign in a new era today on the Rift. I am Dash, and I am happy to be joined by both Lyric and Raz as we kick off the quarterfinals. Best of fives from here on out. The stakes are through the roof. Elimination matches this point forward. We did it. We made it to the bracket stage, and it feels good.
Yeah, and, you know, it feels good. It's about to get serious. It's about to get spicy. And I just wonder if we're going to keep having all these unexpected, crazy upsets like groups.
Yeah.
Do we got to be on our toes, or is this where the tournament gets normal?
This is what I loved about that piece that was hype as hell, by the way, when Perk said, you know, best of 1, talking about drafts, right? Exactly. Best of 5, it's mental. This is what it's all about. People get here and want to be in that best of 5 experience where you can have those mind games. Is blue side working out for us? Do we need to get on red side? All of this matters.
I love the call out too towards the group stage and how exciting it was. I think by many, they would consider it to be the best group stage we have ever had at a World Championship. And we only hope that the bracket stage will follow suit. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Let's see what action awaits us. Today, we've got Hanwha Life taking on the Titans T1 before we see more best of fives later this week. 4 straight days of action. Let's get a quick refresher, though, on what we saw on the final day of the group stage, starting with Mad Lions making it happen for the EU faithful when all hope was lost.
Yeah,
Mad Lions surged through.
It looked great coming in on that last day, right? I think Mad Lions looked a bit shaky in week 1. We saw numerous players step up in the second half, though. Really want to highlight Humanoid. Great performance, especially on this game. You see on your screen on the LeBlanc coming out, finding a ton of amazing picks. I mean, he made Icon just completely regret his existence in 2 games on that day, Raz.
Yeah, on that day, which was ridiculous in terms of mental resiliency, the fact that we needed to have a separate tournament bracket for the tiebreakers, and then Mad Lions in this game. Because you look at this one play where it seemed like LNG was going to take it all. It was a back and forth situation. Mad Lions were able to clutch up. Carzzy was incredible in these moments. Wild.
I mean, you see it there on Onward's face, right? They themselves were a bit baffled at how they were able to mount that comment. That was one of the most fed MFs I've ever seen in my life.
Yes!
And poor Light was completely kept out of the fights because of play from Humanoid, as you called out, Lyric. So what a run by them. And while they do take second in the group, we've also got to talk about Gen G, who emerges first. 3 out of 4 LCK teams, first seeds coming into the bracket stage.
You know, I've heard Chronicler going on about this all week of, oh, LCK, we're a one-region team. You're only looking at Damwon. And LCK came to play. They stepped up. Gen G especially, you just hit on right. They did this exact same thing last year at 2020 Worlds, and they've always just been so consistent at following through on their play style, their win conditions. But, man, I think all the LCK teams looking pretty scary.
Especially since you did start with the topic about just Gen G, right? Like, it still hurts my soul, as we were just talking about that tiebreaker. The TL fell victim to them. Look, I had to bring it up.
Hurts my soul too, Raz.
I had to bring it up.
I thought we were past that.
Just as we were talking about, maybe it's time. LCK domination, it's in the past. BDD shuts me up with his Zoe play. And so, yeah, they're here, first seed. LCK looking damn good in the group stage.
It definitely hurt. It definitely hurt to see TL exit the group stage again in a 3-3 fashion, then losing that tiebreaker. But again, it highlights the power of the 2 squads that did make it through. And of course, with all that in mind, I want to stop down and talk about who we see as the real front runners here moving into the bracket stage. Maybe some dark horses as well in that race to lift the Summoners Cup. So where are our minds at?
For me, easiest one, Damwon. They don't have to prove a damn thing. they're the
defending world champions.
World champions, exactly.
6-0 on groups.
6-0 in groups. They dominated then. They have the players. Kenyon looks insane alongside Showmaker. Khan in the top lane was just doing some nasty things, right? Got the only pentakill in this tournament. Looking on really any champion. Lucian was the one he did it on. So, like, they're the teams that you need to prove yourselves if you want to take a game off of.
Yeah, I think even going to the other side of the map, right? Because everyone criticized Ghost and Barrel coming in, especially their MSI performance not being up to stuff. But Ghost and Barrel have performed well this tournament. And if that's your weak link that is still performing exceptionally well, and then you have the top side to deal with, I mean, Damwon are far and away the favorite right now.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's going to have to be Mad Lions that challenges them first. We'll see if they can do
Rough
the
stuff.
Unthinkable. And then from there, if they don't, we'll look at who's next. But as we talk about Damwon as being a pre-tournament favorite and continuing to be a favorite, I think it's natural then that we take a look at the LPL squads as well. EDG, RNG, Lyric, hit me.
And to me, they're like the real challengers, right? Whoever can win in this matchup, which I think is going to be extremely close. We do get that one tomorrow. Region versus region matchups are always a bit more dynamic, right? EDG have been a bit more of this slower team, have been a bit more about grouping up, playing these team fights. So where RNG, it's still the secret sauce of, okay, we bring Ming up towards the top side, crying on TF and Galio every game, and just 2 completely different styles. I still think either one of these teams would be an underdog going against potential Damwon, but this is who I'm looking at to maybe get an upset and, you know, make that run.
Yeah. I'm curious your opinion on these 2 squads, Raz, because while EDG, I think by many pre-tournament was considered to be slightly more favored, RNG to me right now, exiting groups, and maybe that's a recency bias to the way that they closed their group stage, where EDG kind of stumbled at the end and RNG seemed a little bit stronger. They're the team that right now I'm a little more fearful of.
Yeah, because RNG just looks a little bit more flexible. Because they have that topside element. I know a lot of us talked about how the meta is kind of focused towards the top lane. Every day we come in here and we see carry tops thrive, and RNG is the one with the carry top king, right, in Shahu. So I think they're the team that's very flexible, though I give it to EDG just because of the talent that they have there in Viper, in Mako. The bottom lane literally just needs to be feared.
Fair enough, fair enough. We'll see that one play out in not too long, but Cloud9 is another team that I want to talk about. A dark horse. I'm going to go ahead and slide that one out there.
The darkest horse.
Yeah. It's a dark night and a pitch black horse.
Look, I'm just going to put it out there. They're the team that you didn't see coming. They took down FPX. So a lot of people.
I was going to say everyone took down
FPX. A lot of people. FPX took down FPX. But Cloud9, I think, showcased greatness in their final week and showcased that they're growing as a team throughout the tournament. And now that they're going up in what I would perceive against the worst seed 1 team in Gen G, they can take them down, grow along that process. They have a lot of growing to go, but right now, if you didn't believe in them in group stage, you gotta believe in them a little bit in the next stage.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Perks finally, coming into the international Perks that we've come to know and love over the years, I think, in those final few games on the group stage, which helped propel them into the quarterfinals. But the other thing I want to bring up, Lyric, is the fact that that was the group that played the longest to go, right? It's been the most time since we've seen them play, and so while other teams got to the benefit of watching those second-round robins and adjusting from that point, Cloud9 is a team that I wonder how they've used this off time, how they've internalized, the meta and the champion select reads that other teams have shown since then.
That's the thing. I feel like we're really stretching like the term dark horse here for Cloud9. But if there's one thing that I think can give them that boost needed is that time that you're talking about. Again, learning from all the drafts, maybe picking up some new champions, some more enchanters in the bottom lane, Perks having time to continue with that momentum.
Yes.
So we're gonna see what they have going in, but. And Raz keeps selling us.
We've always said this, being on the same page on skirmishes. I felt like the last time, different team, of course, last time C9 went to semifinals, they were a really scrappy team around mid-jungle. And I feel like it's the same thing here. Blabber and Perks, a lot of what we've seen in their success in week 2 was based around how willing they were to fight as a team. So
well,
keep that
I'm in the market for a dark horse, and I think Raz has properly sold me on one. While we're on the subject of superlatives like the dark horse, it only feels right to reflect on everything that we've seen with some group stage awards. First, I think we have to talk biggest surprise at Worlds 2021. Who's it going to?
I don't really want to talk about this one, guys.
You don't want to talk about it?
All right, Raz, you take it. Help us out.
Right, well, I feel like a little. It's the big Phoenix in the room. Fun plus Phoenix were my tournament favorites. I'm gonna be honest. I had faith in them. I had the copium because they were so good regionally. And then when they went into their group, it was the greatest collapse I think we've ever seen.
Yeah, the big Phoenix in the room, they got yeeted by the dark horse. To continue on with the animal analogies. But yeah, I think a lot of people definitely surprised by the fall of FPX. And while that, I guess, paints it a bit in a negative light, it again goes to show the expectation that we have for some of these players, individuals, and organizations that have shown up in big ways in just the years prior.
That's the big thing, right? FPX have won Worlds before, like they've won the LPL. They came second twice this year. And Doinby, in almost everyone's top 20 list, was like ranked 1, if not maybe 2 on some people's.
Exactly.
It's just such a stark difference to what we saw in the LPL to what we saw here.
All right, from there to something a little bit more lighthearted, let's talk best camera poses. Who are you guys thinking? We've got a lot of personality up there on the stage. It was a long group stage, but obviously I think Armut is somebody that's going to jump to the front of everybody's mind when you think personality.
Just like he said in the recent video, don't forget Armut. He will make you. He has the greatest camera awareness.
He does.
In general. The guy has just personality. When he's winning, he'll let you know he's winning in the game.
If I could have camera or map awareness like his camera awareness, I'd be a much better League of Legends player.
I'm just saying that maybe you'd be at Worlds right now, but Evie definitely coming out with some good ones of his own. Again, a lot of those like slow-mo takes. And, I'm going to give a special shout out to people who weren't on our list, which is Perks and Doinby blowing kisses to each other.
That was
cute.
That's a nice duo, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely with Evie, that's the thing. Is like you would think that those are slow mode. You would think that those are slow. That's real time right there.
God,
the amount of control that it takes to get that is a fascinating thing to see out there on the stage. All right, let's talk meta. Most annoying meta pick of 2021. Who's it going to?
I mean, this one's unanimous, right? I mean, you see casters, pro players, Reddit, Twitter, like everyone is on the same page. That Yuumi right now is just such an annoying champion to see, to deal with. Doesn't matter the past, the Yasuos, the Teemos. This one is just, I think we're all on the same page, right, Raz?
Yeah, I see. Here's the thing. When I heard Enchanters were coming in, I was initially excited just because you don't like seeing the same thing in the meta. Oh, it's another Leona Nautilus game, right?
Yeah.
But then you start seeing Yuumi be played. And whenever you see Yuumi, it's in combination with a Yuumi and Ezreal. And if it's a Yuumi, by the way, she has another summoner, Exhaust, that makes the game that much more infuriating to watch.
Right now it's gorgeous.
Oh!
Hey!
Lord!
Disgusting.
Not what I needed in my early afternoon and kickoff to the group stage. Yeah, I mean, she's clearly been a dominant pick throughout the tournament. I think the question becomes then, will people find a way to deal with her? Will it become something that just continues to get traded, you know, first, second pick priority, or just entirely banned out because people are done trying to play around it?
I do feel like luckily we've started to see teams like realize how to play against it again.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a ton of like Lulu come into the meta and going up against it. We've seen more teams more comfortable bringing out these like heavy engage, heavy dive bot lanes. And yeah, I think there are definitely answers right now.
All right, well, as we all can recall from the group stage, the long days have been challenging. But luckily, we've had the joy of watching our casters come up with some very golden quotes. Let's check it out.
Hello and welcome back to Worlds 2021. We're fast-paced. We have to jump right back into the action. Here we go into the draft. Lucian, Irelia, Lee Sin, Graves, Xin Zhao, and Zoe Banda alongside a Yuumi first pick, and there's the Jarvan coming out from RNG. Guys, take it away.
Closer. Oh! Oh no! That's so good for the Tryndamere.
Tiebreaker. Wait, what is NA's win rate in tiebreakers?
No, don't
It's
talk
pretty
it.
low. Okay, we'll say North America, you could be happy right now. We'll talk about everything else later in the day.
They stop him! They punch him into the fountain! Oh, it goes through that! Fnatic find the fight! And Adam gets the triple!
Bruh. Dude, you're a rap god, man. What the hell happened?
That was a rap god. That was like auctioneer.
Yeah, that was much more of a...
Yuumi go once, Yuumi go twice, Yuumi go 3 times, Yuumi sold.
Whose cat is that?
I mean, for me, this is just evidence of how amazing our play-by-plays are with their energy, man. Play-by-plays popping off. Raz is over here. Yeah, just stretching.
Hey,
What's going on, man?
I
Get
was not
hype!
stretching. I was a little surprised. That was when someone, Olaf, I think, got punted into. No, it was Tryndamere that got punted into.
Oh,
the
it was a
yes,
fountain play.
Yes, I remember that one.
So that was that your thinking face? That
was my thinking and being like, okay, what's actually happening here? So he definitely buys us time. And I agree with the whole auctioneering thing. By the way, our play-by-plays definitely have other career options down the road.
That's true. Yeah, when they get over the hump here in League of Legends and in the gaming space, they've got another avenue or two open to them. All right, well, part of what has made Worlds so compelling is the continual evolution of the meta here in 2021. The most unique champions picked and champion presence in Worlds history already. And what's powerful for one team, may not work for the next. And I think that's been a learning for a number of teams throughout the group stage. Again, first round robin to second round robin. But let's talk about some of the most prevalent picks, some of the highest impact picks that we've seen so far at Worlds.
Yeah, I definitely think it's been all about like playmaking. We've had a lot of strong laning champions come out. So champions like Lucian jump to mind, coming into the bot lane, really been such a dominant force. LeBlanc being another one coming out. And again, just being such a terror, we highlighted Humanoid on the pick earlier in the day. You fit into these early poke compositions. You can look for like picks on sides. There's just so much versatility right now in the meta. And yeah, I feel like it starts with champions like this.
And I think with LeBlanc, it's a lot of player expression. The ability for a Perks, a Humanoid, to be able to find plays, especially against some of the more difficult matchups like we've seen versus LeBlanc. Like Jensen had a humongous performance in the final week, and a lot of it was based off of like being able to, in later portions of the game, be that playmaker for your team, whereas Lucian, far more flexible. If you first pick that champion, especially RNG, it's like, where is he actually going? I have no idea.
Well, you mentioned Jensen, and that's the next pick I want to talk about, which was one of the ones that he jumped to many times in TL's attempt to get out of the group stage. It was a Syndra pick. I mean, just early game domination, the ability to set up plays, the range, everything about her phenomenal when you have somebody with high mastery on the pick.
This is the adaptation that I really love to see. When the trifecta of mid laners, the Twisted Fate, LeBlanc, and Rises were getting banned, you were starting to see like Abadaga and certain teams going towards Orianna. And that takes way too long to get online, whereas Syndra is great. And also with carry junglers, you can really support them with that long-range stun like you saw. So really enjoyed the pick, want to see a little bit more of it. Understand there's a lot more cleanses and exhausts. Thankfully, you do outrange the exhaust so you can get those stuns across, but you just have to put in a little bit more work.
That BDD stuff on the Humanoid Shrima Shuffle was just picture perfect. You tipped your cap to the next pick that I want to talk about a little bit earlier in terms of the response to Yuumi. And so while the pick hasn't been played a ton yet here at Worlds, Lulu, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I really love seeing teams adapt this pick, especially into the Yuumi, because it pretty much matches scaling with scaling. If Yuumi gets off of her AD carry to look for like the passive hit on someone to get the shield, you can just polymorph them, try and burst her out right away. We've seen her very strong in these 2v2s, and it's been one of the things that I feel like have led T1 and Damwon to success because they were some of the first teams to bring this out.
Yeah, and I mean, just during the entire year, we've been seeing a little bit of Lulu play here, so it's not as if that what you're seeing from Yuumi and Nami, you have to really put in a whole bunch of work when you're in this boot camp coming into Worlds, right? With Lulu, like a lot of support players have already had that experience. So I've already loved seeing Aphelios Lulu compositions.
And we've already seen tons of evolution here in the meta at Worlds. We know that the knockout stage always has a little bit more in store for us in that regard. We're going to step away when we return. We're looking at history in the making as we get ready for today's series. In the meantime, go check out T1's pick, Runner by T1. Can't believe they're their own artist at this point. DJ Raiden, Baekhyun, and Chongmo as the song that represents their playstyle here at the official LOL playlist on Spotify. See you back here in just a few minutes.
This ain't where the legends come from. You know what a hero looks like. Pretty little flower, won't you sit back down and go play nice? So keep talking, keep laughing. One day you'll wish you had it. Other people want fire, fire. Maybe it's time they meet their dragon. If you're gonna hold me down, you're not gonna let me into your castle walls. None of you can keep them. 'Cause if I gotta burn it all down, burn it all down. My oh my, look at who ends up bigger this time. And if I gotta break it all down, then let's break it all down. Bye, playing with fire, and we'll burn it all down. This is where the bruises come from. This is when the game gets ugly. These blood, sweat, tears keep running. Licking my plate 'cause I'm so hungry. Keep talking, keep laughing. One day you'll see what happens. Other people want fire, fire. It's about time they meet their dragon. If you're gonna hold me down, you're not gonna let me into your castle walls. None of you can keep them. 'Cause if I gotta burn it all down, then we'll burn it all down. My oh my, look at who ends up bigger this time. And if I gotta break it all down, then let's break it all down. Bye, playing with fire, and we'll burn it all down. It starts right now. Baby, you're surrounded. Put your money where your mouth is. Bury your doubts under the ground. Then they're gonna watch you step over the ashes. Right now I'm taking my turn with the matches. 'Cause if I gotta burn it all down, then
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk ahead of our Best of 5 series between T1 and Hanwha Life Esports. T1, of course, the home of living legends and some of the greatest international successes in all of League history. FLICKR, of course, the one who's going to jump to name the winningest player of all time.
Yeah, he's got 9 LCK championships, 3 world championships. He needs to order more cupboards to keep those championships.
Yeah, they're doing home renovations while he's here at Worlds right now in expectation of another Summoners Cup joining that trophy case. But I think that's the question, Lyric, for this squad. While, again, a 3-time title holder, it's been a bit since this organization has tasted that highest level of sweet victory.
Yeah, definitely been a while. And I mean, we saw in the promo video, right, FLICKR wanting to come in strong. He believes they can do it. They've been looking good, but FLICKR is surrounded by a bunch of young and new faces, right? Kana up in the top lane has definitely been a carry threat, especially here in this tournament where it feels like him Khan and Xiao who have really been the standouts. You look at the jungle, Owner coming in halfway through the split, kind of making a name for himself, and then one of the strongest bot lanes in the world.
That's the thing. It's that new era where FLICKR's coming in with that veteran experience, and you know, a lot of it's in those rookie players, in Owner, in Gumayushi to go on ahead.
And I want to continue talking about T1, but also start to loop in Hanwha as we kind of reflect on their regular season play, their domestic performance, which, or rather where, neither of these teams were necessarily considered giants.
No, I mean, especially Hanwha, right? Hanwha finished 8th in the LCK regular split. It was a rough one for them. A lot of people calling them Chovy Life Esports for a long time for a reason. It was in the regional gauntlet where they started to bring it together, and Deft especially stepping up in that bot lane to have a secondary carry. Then once we've gotten to Worlds, other members have stepped it up, but Hanwha aren't any slouches, right? They took T1 to 5 games already.
Exactly, which is why people should respect them. The fact that they took them to 5 games and they were only developing, the fact that they got that benefit of going into play-ins and working on Morgan and Willer, Vista, who hasn't had that experience in the past, and so now the team feels like it has leveled up as a team fighting squad.
Oh, well, making you wonder, right, whether or not we're going to get a full 5 games today. But turning our eyes from the past to the present, let's go ahead and talk play styles for these two teams, and let's start with T1.
Yeah, I feel like T1 have had such a great read on the meta coming into the tournament, right? They play the Kennons, they play the Jaces. Mid lane's all about facilitating your side laners, bringing out things like the Twisted Fate, which FLICKR's gone back to time and time again. Owner also being one of the innovators in the jungle, realizing, hey, it's a lot about kind of not necessarily counter-picking your jungle matchup, but going against, you know, what the enemy comp brings out. So the Poppy coming in strong. And then Aphelios Lulu was something we hit on at the desk, Raz.
Yeah, if you have confidence in Gumayushi, and hell yeah, we have confidence in Gumayushi's ability to play, support him. And so, fear his Aphelios. Fear any champion he plays, goddammit. Aphelios, I think, is something that he'll be playing quite a bit today. So have a lot of faith in Kana and Gumayushi to be their main player.
I love the call out, though, in terms of meta and how well it fits T1, because you look at a couple of these compositions, and again, the Kennen, my personal pick for strongest pick in the tournament. The TFs, of course, which are seeing plenty of bans and lots of presence. That Lulu that's coming out in response to the Yuumi that they were already willing to play. And it seems like in a lot of ways, those top LCK teams are the ones defining the meta. But we flip on over to Hanwha Life, and I think you find a very different looking LCK squad, Raz.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Hanwha Life, as you can see from the drafts that they're going through, they're a fish that just goes against the current, Dash. and it just is something that they consistently do with like dated picks with the Renekton and Aatrox.
Yeah. So they're a salmon.
Yes.
Swimming upstream.
Yes.
All right. Good advice for League of Legends, not for life.
It is kind of funny, though, Dash, because like you said, all the other LCK teams feel like they've had a perfect read on the meta. Then you look at them, no Kennen, no Jace, no Enchanter supports. These very like short-range, skirmish-heavy comps that need to get ahead, or if they fall behind, you really don't have wave clear or comeback mechanisms.
Well, then I think that puts even more of a focus, right? If they don't have comeback mechanisms, that they're going to have to be the team that comes out with the aggression and maybe makes something happen. Now, the series is obviously a life or death scenario for both of these squads, but for two players, it's a showdown between one of the greatest of all time and the one gunning for his throne. Our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz is FLICKR versus Chovy.
T1 versus Hanwha, FLICKR versus Chovy. These two superstar mid laners are exactly what highlight reels are made of.
Haymaker as well. FLICKR looking a little bit low, but Abby now going to be in trouble. FLICKR not afraid whatsoever because he keeps getting ganked.
FLICKR is the greatest player of all time. However, we have seen cracks in his armor, and his opponents are eager to test his skills once more. FLICKR and T1 are hungry to put themselves back on top and continue their already stellar legacy.
In the meantime, Gumayushi on the backside, but he has not taken any damage yet. Red, white, do not fight. Do not take this one.
Chovy is the centerpiece of this team. There is no Hanwha without Chovy.
They have lost the dragon, but they are winning the fight 2-1 so far. But Chovy shows up huge to get a double kill.
Chovy seems to be unmatched in the mid lane, but he may find his match in the unkillable Demon King himself. Do not miss this quarterfinal, which promises to be the mid lane matchup for the ages.
A face-off with intense implications in our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. For Chovy, it's a chance to come for the king and take his throne, and for FLICKR, a chance to defend his legacy and prove that he is very much still a god.
Yeah, and I mean, FLICKR, right, the best player to ever play the game, up against Chovy, who might be the best laner we've ever seen in League of Legends. It feels like right now these two players play for very different things. For Chovy, it is about that 1v1. In the regional gauntlet, Chovy got the best of FLICKR numerous times, but FLICKR, we saw the Twisted Fate picks. It's about playing the map and enabling the younger players on the squad.
Yeah, even when he was on that Orianna pick and Aria was having his day with him, right? Like, a lot of the times, the best thing about FLICKR is when he's behind, he knows how to play it safe. He understands what he needs to do to support owner, to support the top side of the map. So for him, it's that stability, whereas Chovy, he's gonna get the resources and he's gonna let you feel it.
Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, I love the way you put it, Lyric. You've got the best player of all time up against possibly the best laner of all time, and so that already proves, or rather, promises to be an exciting matchup. But the thing about being the best laner of all time, and while yes, maybe you've gotten the better of FLICKR before, I feel like FLICKR's the kind of player where if you expect to get X, you're gonna get half of that against FLICKR, because he just finds a way to minimize disadvantages, to stop the bleeding while doing work for the rest of his own squad.
Yeah, I agree. And it is kind of funny, right? Because FLICKR's coming in as the dad of this squad and what he can do for them. To where for Hanwha, I feel like we're looking at what other members can step up to enable Chovy to be able to match that.
Yeah, for me, it would have to be Willer. I mean, the fact that if we were looking to the performance that Hanwha Life has had during their LCK run, Willer has been on and off, but during play-ins, during group stage, he's been the player that for me has found real growth and is going to be a person who is a natural facilitator for Chovy. And so if we're just talking about what's naturally going to happen the first 10 minutes of the game, focused on the 2v2 through mid, it's going to be my eyes on Willer and how he supports Chovy.
All right, we'll see if they can get it done in that 2v2. Just about a minute to go until game time. So now is what really matters. It's what we all think is going to happen. Who's going to end up taking it? And we're going to the fans at home first. It's time to check in on our MasterCard fan predictions. If you missed out on voting today, first of all, you screwed up. What were you doing? All right? But you can check out at MasterCard Nexus on Twitter to cast your vote for tomorrow's series. For now, let's go ahead and see. Oh, my goodness. 95 to 5 in favor of T1.
Where are the Hanwha fans?
This actually surprised me. And, just to get the predictions out of the way, right?
Yeah.
I definitely
Bring it out.
I definitely think T1's going to win, but I think this should be closer. Again, Hanwha brought them to 5 games in regionals. Pretty much everyone agrees they've improved throughout the tournament. Willer's playing a bit better. And I definitely think out of a lot of remaining teams of this tournament, the C9s, the Mads, Hanwha probably puts up the best fight against T1.
So is it going 5 games? Who takes it? How many games?
Okay, T1's 3-0, but if Hanwha take it, it's a 3-2.
Okay, Raz, what do you got? Raz, what do you got?
No.
Is the same thing? T1 3-0?
3-1.
I did my best, Hanwha.
Okay, he gives him a game. He gives him a game. Well, that's enough out of us. Let's get into this series as we join Atlas, Wolf, and Chronicler for the call.